welcome to Monday Night Therapy. Todd.
John.
Do you start to salivate during our opener? During the that video with the girl walking through the wheat?
Salivate?
Salivate.
Well, no, I like the tune. I like the opener. I think it's pretty doggone cool. Yeah, I mean, what more can you ask for when you have what appears to be, what could be a very beautiful woman, walking through a wheat field, and then into a cornfield. I don't know. I just you chose a snappy tune. I like the tune.
I salivate because I become conditioned to looking so forward to this.
So, okay, Pavlov.
Yeah, that's how it works. Okay, wait. We're going to try a psychic experiment.
Psychic experiment. Okay.
I want you to think of your least favorite moment of the game against, who was it we just played? Purdue. And I am going to just read it out of your mind.
My least favorite moment.
Your least favorite moment.
Okay.
I didn't realize it would take you this long.
Well, it wasn't a perfect game, so.
Okay. It was the first play. The fumble on the kickoff.
No.
No, you're lying. I know you're lying.
No.
It was everybody's least favorite moment. Come on, man. What was your least favorite moment of the game?
The fact that targeting wasn't called on that one hit on Harberg. Not the beautiful form tackle that the linebacker stuck him with, after that. But that play that they reviewed, that was horrible. That was textbook targeting. And those kinds of hits are the ones that knock guys out of the game.
That is
true. The one he got knocked out of the game in was a clean hit. One of the best tackles I've seen in a long time.
So, well, Linda's here. Good evening, John and Todd. Good evening, Linda. What was your least favorite moment of the game, Linda? Let us know in the comments. Let everybody just light it up. What was your least favorite? There had to be plenty of least favorite moments. And try not to duplicate it because I already took the first play of the game, so you guys can't take that.
Well, that first play of the game, it's just kind of like, are you kidding? I mean, how many times in the last 5 years, probably, I've just never, I cease to be amazed. Never cease to be amazed with, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? That really happened. If we should have, I think at one point in time, we kind of talked about putting together a list of all of the stupid, crazy, unbelievable things that have happened to Nebraska football teams. We should have started that list.
You mean the worst things ever?
Well, like these things, you don't see it happening. Some of these things you don't see happening to other teams. But, it's just kind of like, okay, the fumble on that first play on the kickoff. Yeah. Okay. That's last game, it was the first pass was intercepted. I mean, Nebraska beats the odds on almost every bad thing that can happen.
You mean now?
Well, they did. I'm talking
not last year or the year before.
Okay. I guess I'm not explaining myself.
No, you're not. I am confused. Look, I have a new shirt.
I like that.
Yeah.
Dion Pryor, you had that new shirt. That one looks.
No,
good.
I just unboxed this earlier today. I did a video I unboxed a bunch of new stuff. Dion Pryor says it looks foggy at Todd's.
I kind of make my background foggy, and if I look foggy, that's just because of the lens in my camera. So I feel kind of foggy.
David Matney says his least favorite moment was 4th and 1 and shotgun.
David, that is very, very true. 4th and 1 in the shotgun. Dr. Rob Zadika, he's done apparently a video on that. that just ceases to amaze me. 4th and 1, you take the ball right underneath center. I mean, geez Louise.
But you got a lot more options if you're in the shotgun.
Oh, shit. You're going to do one of two things. You're going to run it forward or you're going to hand it off. And why are you putting yourself 4 or 5 yards further back?
Yeah. My mouse is stuck. Fred Sacco says 4th and 1 in the gun and Sims strip sack fumble. Charles Hullett says heinous hit on Harberg. That's alliteration from that guy.
That's pretty good.
Colt Bundy says least favorite moment was the no call targeting penalty. He agrees with you, Todd. He's sucking up. That's what that guy is doing.
I like Colt. I've always liked guys named Colt.
And Linda, wait. Colt Bundy, Sims fumble recovered for a T. Here's one from Linda, running out of scotch on the first play.
Linda, how much was left in the bottle?
Yeah, Linda, you're supposed to be prepared for these things. I mean, hide one from yourself and then act like surprised when you find, oh my God, look, I have another bottle of scotch. I would do that constantly when I was drinking. And then I'd be always amazed I found something. Like, wow, I wonder how long this has been here. That's terrible. I should not go into that. Crystal Heath Vike. I'm sure I butchered her name. When Sims proved why Harberg is the starting quarterback. Well, should we talk about that, Todd? There were a lot of people that thought Sims should be back in the game as the starting quarterback, and there you go.
I'm in that camp, and I will not apologize for it.
You were in the Sims camp?
I've said for the last few weeks that I thought that Sims should play.
Okay. Here's the thing. We had an argument in Slack, which is how we communicate internally on the website, about Sims play. And I think at the post-game wait a minute. Tackle Farms gives us $99.99 as a super chat. Thank you. It's time, gents. Least favorite moments, the damn turnovers. But damn it, we are going to a bowl game. Throw the bones. There you go. But there you go. We should do that more often because our defense is kicking ass. All right. We had an argument in Slack, and I said that the fumble wasn't really, it was the worst play that he had, but it wasn't indicative of the only problem. The other problem was he turned the wrong way in a handoff. He almost snapped the ball into the motion man. Now, Brian said that internally in Slack said that he was supposed to snap the ball that close to the motion man so that the blocking was set up in the proper area. I'm not sure I agree with that, but neither of us are offensive coordinators. So I think there was another, I think he was in 4 plays?
Yeah, I think it might have been 4.
And I just don't, it almost seemed to me like he wasn't prepared to do anything. And I just find that shocking. Tell me I'm wrong, Todd. Argue with me. Tell me I'm
no. I want you to keep talking because you were a lot stronger in your opinions on Slack than you are here tonight. What, have you softened?
Well, you know what I did today? I stared at a server all freaking day. I had one thing I needed to fix and I couldn't understand what it was, and it exhausted me. I got so frustrated and angry with myself. I was a bundle of emotions. It sucked the life out of me. Okay. You know what? I'll do it. Give me a minute.
You were prepared to go, and maybe you did. I'm sorry if I've missed it, but you were prepared to go do a video.
Oh, that's right.
Entitled that Jeff Sims should
never see the fucking field again ever.
Yeah.
In a Husker uniform. I didn't say the fucking part. You can't put that in a title. I was, that's how I get the things out. I put them in Slack. Brian argued with me, and he made the point that we probably won't ever see Jeff Sims as a quarterback again. And I think the thing is Is that
So,
true? We're going.
Rumor has it. Rumor
has it. I think that's a great song.
We don't know this for. I mean, rumor has it that Chubba Purdy was in concussion protocol. At least I heard that from somewhere. Chubba Purdy has been. He is. Is he even suiting up? I mean, I haven't paid attention, but Chubba Purdy has not been at all involved this season.
Right.
And so what we heard was back when Sims got hurt against Colorado, that Chubba Purdy was actually the second team quarterback and would have been the first one in had he not been injured a couple of days previous in practice. Okay. So apparently Chubba Purdy, you don't know what the status is with him. So you're telling me that when Nebraska is playing this next week up in Michigan, and in the second quarter, Chubba Purdy just absolutely gets mauled and is knocked out of the game, you're going to put in Wocha or Livin, whatever his name is. You're going to put in one of those two guys. You're not going to. That's who you're going to go with, John, or you're going to go with Jeff.
How can you go with Jeff Sims when he can't turn the right way on a handoff? I mean, listen, Jack Walsh could hand the ball off. Jack Walsh could, you know what? Jack Walsh could run play action and right?
John, I think
Luke Longo is the other guy. Luke Longo is the other guy. We're going to be in that position. I think we all know that, unless two things happen. Two things have to happen, Todd, for us not to be in that position. Heinrich Harberg has to slide, and he has to run out of bounds, or throw the ball. There's three things have to happen: run out of bounds, throw the ball away, slide. Don't. And when you're running the option, you got to run into those guys like you're going to blow through a wall. That's a giant wall. And he's really pulling up at the end of those hits. And that's kind of scary. That's where he gets clocked like that.
He's pulling up now because he's been hit so damn many times. Kid's body has got to feel like crap. And,
he's I know that it's been a long time, Todd, but he's young.
I understand he's young, but your
arthritis in your big toe is killing you right now.
The reality is that Heinrich Harberg's the starting quarterback. He earned the job. And Jeff Sims, it was called in wrong, John. Okay. Jeff Sims, I'd said all along, he deserved a shot to get in there. I would have liked to have seen Jeff Sims have an opportunity to go in like at the start of a third quarter, in the third series or something like that, and have something scripted for him rather than have to come in, right away to get his feet back on the ground. The reality is that we needed a quarterback at that moment in time. And he came in and he did not perform well. No question about it. But, the extremists that are saying, he should never, ever set foot on the field again, or, send him packing or whatever it might be. I'll tell you what, kiss our season goodbye. If Heinrich Harberg gets hurt, kiss it goodbye, because those other two guys are not going to be able to carry the team. And who knows what Chubba's status is.
Okay. Minnie says it was called in wrong, John. That's what Rule said. It was miscommunication because Minnie is paying more attention than I am. That sounded sarcastic. By the way, I have a problem. You know how everybody has that friend of theirs that always looks stoned? I am the guy that no matter when I say things, they're always sarcastic. It doesn't matter. I could look at my wife and go, "I love you very much." And it'd be like, "Oh, really, do you?" That's how it goes. So I'm not being sarcastic, Minnie. Then she comes back with, "Thank you, Brian. These convos drive me crazy when people are against Sims for things that aren't his fault." Well, right now, everything was his fault. or at least in those moments, because I know that when that strip sack, when the ball was stripped and they scored, 99.9% of Husker fans, that means everybody but me, got nervous, didn't you? You all got anxious. You thought, I am just, we are falling apart again, and we're going to lose this game. And there you go. Everybody got nervous, didn't they? Did you get nervous,
when
Todd?
Harberg got hurt?
No, when Sims dropped the ball and they scored.
No. The defense was playing so damn good. I didn't think that there was any way in hell that Purdue was going to be able to score enough to still make it a game. I mean, you made that
Terry
comment.
Swanson. Go ahead.
You made a comment in a previous game that at no point in time where right. Whoever it was, Illinois, at no point in time was Illinois in a position to win the game. And at that point in the game, I understand, the scoop and score, that always seems like it's a momentum changer. But, I thought the Nebraska defense was too stout.
Terry Swanson says John keeps freezing up, must be on his trusty dial-up modem. I actually dealt with Comcast today, and they are doing upgrades in my area later tomorrow night. And it's been I had a meeting with somebody today, and I barely could do the meeting because the performance is terrible. So I apologize for that. I hope to get it fixed soon. We have some other comments. Roger Moore says, how about the field goal kicker, Tristan Alvano, 55 yards?
He that was a long one. And, he's getting, there's no question the kid's got a leg. Everybody knew that coming in, and you watch him on kickoffs and he kicks the ball deep. Kickers are freaks, man. And, there have been some guys that have been incredible, that they get the yips from time to time. And there's, if you could find a cure for the yips, you'd make a lot of money. But the ones that Alvano has missed, I think the ones he's missed this year have all been at an angle to the right side of the field. I'm not 100% sure, but I think at least a couple of his misses where he's been over on the right hash mark. So, hey, more opportunities, more time out on the field. I think Nebraska's got their field goal kicker for the next 4 years, which that is a good feeling. When you think back in history, Nebraska has always had some good kickers, and most of them are around for 3 or 4 years. So that's one area of the game I'm not going to worry about.
Are we ready for this? Oh, let's go into it. Lloyd M. Christmas says, John, what really grinds my gears is that the Maryland game is on a streaming TV app. I'm going to listen that one on the radio. Who's with me? The Maryland game is going to be on Peacock.
11 o'clock
correct?
On Peacock.
11 o'clock game on Peacock. I have tickets to that game if I want them, and I keep thinking that I should go.
Well, now you should, because are you going to pay your money to watch Peacock?
We already have Peacock.
Oh, you do? See, I haven't.
You know why we have Peacock?
Because you're watching Champion League soccer.
Exactly. No, it's on Peacock. There's the EPL, and you can watch rugby and all sorts of weird shit that most people don't watch. So we have Peacock. I think that the Nebraska Athletic Department was given discounts to Peacock. And number two, you can sign up for a trial and then cancel it later. That doesn't get you all the Nebraska basketball games that are going to be on Peacock later. So, and I'm sure we're going to have more football games on Peacock. Dion Pryor says 5-3, baby. We are 5-3. I want
to talk about this Peacock thing just a little bit.
Okay.
I was really bummed when I saw that they were going to be able to get some games. And I think it's because I have YouTube TV and I have Paramount Plus. I've got Netflix. I haven't subscribed to Peacock, but when you take games and shuffle them down, I think I think it sucks for one thing, but it's an additional expense that some people have to incur. Now, that being said, I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to go to the game. So I'll see the game. But if this was an away game, I'd be really frustrated. Now, is Michigan going to be on Peacock?
I think that they said that everybody gets a chance, but
Okay.
you know how that goes. Michigan, Ohio State rule this conference.
Well, here's
At
the
least
thing.
they spread the money out evenly, but you know.
Here's the thing. Nebraska is saying, yeah, I'll bend over and take it, because Michigan has stood up and Ohio State has stood up and they've said, we're not playing Friday night games.
Right.
And they haven't. And I'd be willing to bet that Michigan and Ohio State have said, don't you put any of our games on Peacock. Nebraska needs to put themselves in the same situation. There are plenty of people that follow Nebraska, you know, whether the stadium's sold out or not. The fan base all over this country is going to watch Nebraska play. Nebraska and the TV people know it. Nebraska needs to step back up to where they were at before, when they were saying during COVID, we want to play, when they've shown some leadership in a conference and just put their foot down and say, hey, we're not going to play football on Friday nights, and don't you dare put us on Peacock.
Do you think that matters?
It works for Michigan.
Well, yeah, but it works for Michigan. They've been in the conference since 1907.
So we're just going to
1901, and then they were out for a little bit because of shenanigans, and then they came back. I'm thinking that longevity, the Big Ten has this big bug up their ass about, you guys are new, you don't get to tell us to do anything. Remember Desmond Howard screaming about how we should be kicked out of the Big Ten for wanting to play football?
Well, the bottom line is that if you don't start standing up for yourself at some point in time, then just get ready. Just be prepared to continue to get run over.
Wow. Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. DM Pryor says 5-3, baby.
Yeah. 5-3. Hey, that's a lot better than many people kind of thought we were going to be. You know, it's a big game this week up in Michigan State. It's a game that last I saw that Nebraska was 3.5-point favorites. Okay.
Maze Rage, who obviously is a go blue guy, says Michigan's first game of the year was on Peacock. Todd.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Was. Oh my God. Just constant freezing. I don't remember whose Michigan's first game was.
I don't either.
It was so long ago. Okay. Let's see. 5-3. I missed one. I think Terry Swanson, had a comment that his least favorite moment was when people booed Sims.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about that for a minute. I think there's a general feeling. Terry Swanson, least favorite moment was crowd booing Sims. Don't boo your own players. Now, here's the thing with this. There are a lot of people that feel like, since these guys are getting paid, that we have license to do a lot more criticism and boo and do all sorts of stuff. What do you think of that?
I don't like booing. I don't like booing your own players at all. And I could care less. I mean, if you're cheering for your favorite NFL team or your major league team, I don't think you boo your own players. I don't know. You know, everybody thinks they have license to inject their feelings into the game. I suppose maybe there is something to be said for that, but I just don't. If you're going to support the team, you support them through thick and thin.
Keston Altman says, I do hate booing our own guys. It's just a bad look. I don't disagree with that.
You know, I guess I don't know why. I'm not surprised there was booing, but I guess I didn't notice it in the broadcast. I wasn't paying close enough attention when that happened or something.
Asawar Sajid says, do you think this game will end up like 2021, where we kick the ball the other direction during the fourth quarter? Go Big Red.
Michigan State game?
Yeah, he brings back painful memories.
I think the Michigan State game it could be a little bit of a trap. For
Really?
Nebraska, yeah. The cupboard's not totally bare for Michigan State, though. They've lost a lot of players and they've been kind of
Yeah.
directionless without a coach. But
Right.
it's a home game. It's a home game for them.
That's true.
Nebraska has not been consistent at all on offense. I don't know. I hope Nebraska can win. I believe they can win. But anytime you play on the road in the Big Ten, it can be tough. You never know. So a little bit worried about that one.
Asawar Sajid also asked, do you think Tony White will stay next year?
I think he'll stay next year. I think they're going to have to really look at his contract. I think they're going to have to be willing, to pay him some money. I think probably, I would never underestimate Trev Alberts and his business sense and what he might already be thinking. Tony White he's very well spoken. He looks and sounds like a head coach. I think Tony White also is a realist. And when you hop from job to job,
right.
I don't think that you can prove yourself as much. I mean, if Tony White can build a foundation at Nebraska, stay here for a few years, and this defense just becomes lights out, then Tony White, if he wants a head coaching job, he might not have to settle for an
Bowling Green.
Yeah, he might not have to settle for a group of 5 for his first coaching job. I mean, look at Brent Venables.
Right.
Brent Venables was an assistant coach at Oklahoma for years, and he turned down head coaching offers all over the place, including Power 5 schools. And then he goes to Clemson and wins some national. He coached national championship teams, I think, at both schools. And so by the time Brent Venables, finally decided that he was going to accept a head coaching job, where did he end up? Oklahoma, a powerhouse.
Yeah.
A premier program. So, Tony White, I think, has the potential to be, one of the best coordinators in the country. And so hopefully he sticks around for a while and builds that foundation, builds his resume up there. The one that kind of intrigues me a little bit, scares me a little bit, is that dumpster fire out in Los Angeles. If
Lincoln Riley?
Yeah, if Lincoln Riley survives out there, SC may throw a lot of money at a Tony White. Isn't he from Southern California? He coached, I think, at San Diego State before he ended up at Syracuse along the way. I was thinking he played at San Diego State.
Well, I'll look it up.
But
keep
White,
talking, Todd.
Tony White and Terrence Knighton and Evan Cooper and I'm blank on the first name, Dvorak, the linebacker coach. I mean, they are an incredible defensive staff, and each one of them is certainly an upgrade from what we've had previously. And I would say a significant upgrade as a coach in each one of those positions. Every one of those position groups is playing better than they have last year. And I don't think that there's a defensive coach that we've had in the last 2 coaching regimes. Who's a position coach that you'd pick above who we already have on defense?
That we have right now?
Yeah. Who during the Riley Frost era, is there a defensive position coach you'd pick above the guys that we have right now?
What was his name? Tony Tuioti?
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 You're going to pick him above Terrence
No,
Knight?
I'm not going to pick him, but he's the guy that came to mind. He is the one guy out of all of that came to mind.
Well, and he landed on his feet at Oregon.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you pick. Who was our defensive line coach?
he was.
No, who is now?
Terrence
I stared
Knight.
at the Linux server all day today,
Terrence,
Todd.
Terrence Knight, pot
That's
roast.
right, the pork chop or
Pot roast.
pot roast. God damn it. Okay, Tony Wright, 17th season of coaching. White boasts previous Power 5 experience at Syracuse, Arizona State, and UCLA. Arizona State recruiting coordinator at San Diego State. So, he has been out on the West Coast. I don't think he'd leave Nebraska because, come on, Todd, who would leave us?
Well, you know what? At times, when coaches develop a program together, and I kind of have a feeling that Rule is a guy that these guys are loyal to. I think Rule builds that camaraderie. He builds that unity. So, a lot of times when you work in that kind of environment, that's as important as a lot of things.
I am not keeping up with the comment at all.
Well, I'll
Matt
throw one up here.
Snowvat. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Brian Buschini should be our most valuable. Could Brian Buschini be our most valuable player? He's been pretty consistent this year, Clay. It's interesting though. His average doesn't put him in. I thought I heard he is not in the top 50 with his average, but he is such a strategic punter. And he has flipped the field quite a few times. And I think as Nebraska continues into this last stretch of the season, field position is going to be incredibly important. I mean, they've got Michigan State this week, and then they've got Maryland. And then don't they go back to back with Wisconsin and Iowa? And those two defenses, are just flat out awesome. So, yeah.
Moonbot7 says Bill Bush. What happened? Moonbot7 says Bill Bush is secretly learning the white defense so he can take over the radio thing as a front.
Well, Moonbot, I wish that there was a place for Bill Bush on the staff because I really like that guy. I have not listened to the radio show with him, but people just say it's outstanding. And I think that he's top notch. I just don't, maybe they'll find a place for an analyst or something like that to have him back with this team. He needs to be part of this program.
Keston Altman comes back with, how do you guys think Sat has done with his injured offense? Too conservative. So he's talking about Marcus Satterfield, offensive coordinator. What do you think, Todd?
I think that he should be given a raise. A lot of people have been really quick to jump on Satterfield, and they still do. But when you consider the fact that he's down, right now they're running a fourth string running back, a third string quarterback. They are down 3 of their top 5 offensive linemen. And
receivers.
Let's talk. Yeah. Where are we at with receivers? I mean, holy moly.
Yeah.
That team has been decimated. He's putting out an offense that I don't know how you could figure it out, but at best it's a second string offense, when you consider all the people that he's had to replace. So,
you know what that line is, Todd? He's putting out an offense that Iowa would be proud of.
Well,
I mean, we scored 31 points against Purdue.
I know.
I realize 7 of those was defensive or special teams, but 30. I mean, that's a pretty good out. We have not seen 31 points a game for a very, very long time, not just this year. So I think
I
that's
was
pretty.
shocked. I was shocked.
The play action to Doss, was it? That was beautiful. Right on target. The Emmett Johnson run at the end to seal the game, or to make everybody feel better, really is what that was.
Well,
that was a beautiful. That was a thing of beauty.
I was surprised. Now, and it's again, Purdue doesn't have the best defense in the conference, but those linebackers, those two linebackers were as good as any linebackers that we're going to see.
Okay, it was kind of a Halloween game here. Husker Chuck comes in with, I heard reports that there were several fans dressed as Michigan spies with fake cameras in the stadium on Saturday. LOL. OL.
I saw pictures of them.
That was very good. It was very well done.
I think that's a hoot. To me, that's one of the most egregious things that's happened in college football for quite a while with what Michigan's doing. They need to thump Harbaugh's ass. He should be suspended for a year, wipe out some of those assistant coaches, and let them figure out how they're going to finish the season.
I'll be a Michigan guy. What's wrong with it, Todd?
It's a blatant violation of the rules. When you send staff members, you cannot, I know it sounds weird, but you cannot coach or scout in person. You can't do that in Division I football. And they blatantly did it. He has a network of people that he's also used who are providing video of other teams and their signals. And this little group that he has is breaking down all that video, and it gives a significant advantage to Michigan. Now, people can say all they want that everybody steals signs. Well, yeah, they try to steal signs,
right?
But nothing is systematic that we're aware of. Nothing to the extent of what Michigan's done, and that it's there's no question that they were doing in-person scouting, and that's a violation. And videotaping and recording the opposing team when they're doing the signals. Harbaugh is a cheating son of a bitch, it sounds like. And
So the Michigan fans are still heavily out there on social media, on the internets, basically deflecting all of this. I don't know if have you been on Twitter? Have you guys been on Twitter? My God, the rhetoric between Ohio State fans and Michigan fans, you couldn't even get in something sideways with them because they are so adamant about each other, going at each other. It's pretty amazing. Okay.
Here's one.
Okay, there you go.
Ed Hilker says, does winning the next two put us in top 25 area? It could. It could.
Here's the thing, Todd. Matt Rule says we want to go 1-0 every week, and I have bought into that heavily.
I have bought into it too.
I like the idea that we're not focusing ahead.
No,
having said that, we speculate a lot.
Yeah.
So we're not going to ask, do you think Nebraska could win the Big Ten West? We're just not going there. Could we win the Big Ten West and face Michigan again, change all our signals, and somehow stay with them or beat them in the Big Ten title game? We're not going into that. I think it's, that whole concept of we just need to go 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. I like that a lot, because when you start looking out too far, you start making up all the scenarios that work well in your head. And the fact is if we lose Heinrich Harberg, I mean, look at the Vikings this weekend. Kirk Cousins has never missed a game, and now he's got a torn Achilles. He's done for the year. Aaron Rodgers, the first 20 minutes of playing football for the Jets, torn Achilles, gone for a long time. If we lose Heinrich Harberg, everything is much more difficult than it was before, because we don't know how well Jack Wosh is going to play when he goes in.
Joel Telschow says, do you think Raiola will be here next year? What do you think, John?
I was thinking about this today, and I was thinking, you know what name we haven't really talked about very much this season is Bryce Benhart. We haven't. I have sworn about that guy so many times. Everybody is like, don't boo your own guys. Oh my God, how many times have I sworn about that guy in my videos?
Yeah.
And this year, has he been responsible for any false starts?
I think maybe a couple early on. I do. Maybe one.
You rarely hear his name.
I know.
He hasn't had any holding calls. He hasn't given up sacks. I mean, they've had early in the season, they have that thing where they had twists and the line blew up. But, I think Raiola will be here next year because I think he's taken a patchwork team and put it together to the best of his abilities. And I don't know why you would put it this way. He was there under a coach for 1 year that was so dysfunctional. It was amazing. They even put a team on the field. And this year he's taken a team that has serious problems with depth, serious problems with injuries. And we're going to, he's made them into a pretty serviceable line, I think. I mean, it's not like they're the 95 pancaking Huskers, but, they're scoring. They scored 31 points against Purdue.
I don't think
so.
Let me go. Sorry about that. I don't think we'll see. I want to put this one up in a minute. I don't think we will see any of the assistant coaches. I don't think Rule will let any of them go. I mean, release them. I think Rule will stick with this staff. Hey, when you think about it this way, Matt Rule, this team has won more games than in the first year of his previous stops, and so I think that's a positive. Here's one I want to clarify. Matt Snowvac says Todd must be smoking weed, and that's why his room looks foggy. No damn way Tony White is head coach at USC. No, that's not what I am. If I could see where that might have been what you thought. What I thought, or what my opinion is if Lincoln Riley sticks around SC for another year, if he can survive at SC, he needs a defensive coordinator. So yeah. I could see Tony White moving to SC as a defensive coordinator, not the head coach, just to clarify. And I'm not smoking weed.
Ooh, look at this. What? Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Charles Hellett, I heard Husker football, volleyball, and soccer were undefeated in October.
Wow.
Soccer won 3-2 on Sunday against Ohio State, and they're moving on in the Big Ten tourney. So they do have the
semifinals this week.
They do have the top scorer in the nation. And their coach, she was also Offensive Player of the Year in Big Ten.
Yeah, she was Offensive Player of the Year, and John Walker was the Coach of the Year.
That's pretty good. I know most of you, the soccer is communist people aren't here tonight, but you guys can take up that chant. But, it's nice to have winning teams. You can go out and support them at Hibner and just kind of go, yay, even if you don't understand soccer. Somebody will explain it to you. Volleyball, that's just kind of cool. And Husker football was undefeated in October for the first time since, did you know this?
Yeah, I saw it. I don't remember it. My
2001. It's 22 years ago. 23? Whatever. It's a long time ago. Decades, for God's sake. So it's kind of funny that this is happening with a coach that, has put together kind of a ragtag team, kind of a, patchwork. I said patchwork earlier. What else we got? You keep going, Todd. My God.
Go ahead.
I clicked on the wrong one. Bone-led corn-fed. It says, have you hugged a referee today? Minnie says, Chancellor Brewington has a channel. I asked him about Raiola, and he said he was the best coach he ever had. Minnie, my God, you probably should give us a review on most of these. There are so many Husker channels out there now. It's amazing. I haven't had the chance to watch Chancellor Brewington, but, you guys should. I mean, he was a former player. He might as well get some love from you. Justin Rogge says Todd is a gummy guy. Matt Snovak comes back with no judgment, Todd. It's okay. All right. Let's see. We did that one. Tyler says, could Nebraska win or lose the Big Ten West? Yes, that is the answer to that. I mean, the problem with talking about the Big Ten West is Minnesota has to lose. They have the tiebreaker over us. Iowa needs to lose. Wisconsin needs to lose. Yeah, you're literally talking about 3 other teams besides us that are like, they're just schizophrenic. You know what I mean? Well, none of these teams is really stable. Every one of them could lose all the rest of their games, and every one of them, well, maybe I think Ohio State plays Wisconsin. So it's just you're putting a lot of speculation on what's going to happen with just nutball stuff.
Yeah.
And remember that November, we're in November basically. November is the time. How many football seasons have you guys gone through where people made predictions and, this team and this team and this team. And then October came and went and they're like, oh, this team's going to be the national champion. And then everything blows up every Saturday in November because that's how it goes. So
no, Colt Bundy, I think all of us here agree. It's so tantalizing to try to look forward, but we've mentioned how the go 1-0 this week is a mentality that I think the team is bought into, and certainly that follows along with that day-by-day motto. And good on Coach Rule, good on the staff. Here's another one I want to put up real quick. Michigan scandal, same as the Houston Astros scandal, coach fired. I agree. I totally believe that Jim Harbaugh should be fired at Michigan. No questions in my mind. Or suspended for a year, whatever. But they need to pull him off the sideline. He is complicit in what has happened. And I know, there's a lot of former coaches that are sitting in those studio shows, that are trying to say it's no big deal. They say, what about all this cheating that's going on in NIL and the portal and that kind of stuff? Well, you know what? Dig into that and find some evidence and put it out there.
That's true.
This has been made public. It's public and people know it, and he should be held accountable for this.
Corby Kobus says John boos Scott Frost in his sleeping dreams.
Well, that is true. That is true, Corby. He does. Not only in his sleeping dreams, but he does it while he's conscious as well. So.
It's a Tourette's thing. It's, I'm just walking down the street or having a meeting with a customer and fuck you, fuck that shit, fucking Michigan State punk. It just comes out, This is why I have my own room and I have my own bed and the whole rest of my family is upstairs because it's not quiet booing.
Fred does throw this in, and we probably should have mentioned this. Michigan did rescind the contract extension to Harbaugh. So that has happened.
Is that a sign of things?
Who knows? Paul Dalen pops in, says, late to the show, have we talked about volleyball yet? No, we really haven't talked much about volleyball. John has mentioned it, but this team is undefeated.
Yeah.
And they are just amazing. There was no letdown this weekend. After that huge win against Wisconsin, granted, Maryland and Rutgers are in the bottom half of the conference, bottom third maybe of the conference. But the Nebraska women just came out and, they took it to them. They didn't let down a minute. And, without Krause in there right now, they're just playing outstanding, I think. As good as I've seen Nebraska play since the Michaela Fecky days. They are just truly fun to watch.
Did I come back yet? God. Seth Floyd, thanks for the super chat. 3 words from a Michigan fans: beat the Spartans. I will be pulling for the Huskers this weekend. That's very nice, Seth Floyd. Thank you. They hate each other with the passion, those people. It's kind of nice to have rivals like that have been around forever. Seth Floyd also says Harbaugh refuted that report. I think that it's, and then May's Rage, we're retracting the Michigan guys. May's Rage says this fucking guy, which I have to assume is you, Todd. Now the thing is it keeps getting deeper and more stuff keeps coming out. And I guess we all should probably wait for some final report and everything. So Roger Moore says, how can Michigan's season possibly have any meaning this year? The thing is teams tend to forgive their own people that are cheaters anyway. They just overlook it. We've done this. I mean, we make excuses for our own guys and everything. Okay. Caleb Ward makes the point. This is a Nebraska channel. Can we bash Michigan State this week, please? I will be having a show again with a live. Actually, it'll be Kevin Knight that will be joining me, one of my former writers, who now writes for Rivals, and he and I will be doing a live show about the Michigan State Spartans. I guess when I look at Michigan State, I mean, what the hell? I mean, all of that stuff. Mel Tucker basically destroyed himself, and then Brenda Tracy unfortunately destroyed herself too. So all of that stuff just turned out to be, I don't know, you could make fun of it all you want. And if I was probably not exhausted, I would be making fun of it. But in a lot of ways, it's really just sad. I don't even know what Michigan State has right now for players. Do you, Todd?
I haven't paid much attention to Michigan State. I know they've had some players that, were there at the start of the season that aren't there any longer. I know that what I hear someplace that one of the offensive linemen entered the portal, and Nebraska has kind of got their eye on him. I think the Michigan State thing is really sad too, because truth be told, I've always kind of liked watching Sparty play. I've never had a problem with them. I really haven't had a problem with Michigan either, contrary to what I think that should happen to their coach. But I've always viewed the two Michigan schools as teams that I would cheer for over many others. And I do. I think this is sad. I really do.
Seth Floyd says, John, get ready for a lot of cheap shots and dirty play from Michigan State. What do you think of that, Todd?
Well, I'll tell you what, there were a lot of cheap shots and dirty play from Northwestern, and there was cheap shots and some dirty play from Purdue, though a lot of Purdue, holy moly, those guys were just hitters. They were just hitters. That was a physical game.
Okay, what else we got here?
Here's one I'm going to put up. I'm bringing this one from back at the beginning. I think we need to chat about this.
I was just going to say we're waiting till the end, but we're already at 54 minutes. So, yeah. Justin Ruggie says, saddest day in Husker history, Brian Ferentz leaving at the end of the year.
Well,
what do you think, Todd?
It took a woman to get rid of him. Interim athletic director at the University of Iowa, Beth Getz, is the one that officially pulled the plug on the Brian Ferentz era at Iowa. And I don't think Gary Barta would have done it. But, and I do agree, it's the saddest day in Husker history, because they'll probably, well, who knows? Even we can speculate here in a few minutes, but the way this all came down is that interim AD Beth Getz made the decision that enough was enough with Brian Ferentz, and this was not mutually agreed upon from what has come out.
Really?
There's the release came out from the athletic department, and then I've saw a couple of things on Twitter with some Iowa insiders, and Keith Murphy is from Des Moines, and he is about as inside can get. And this was not, this did not have Captain Kirk's blessing.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Well, I'm telling you what I know. And so, that can all lead to all kinds of speculation as well. Now, Brian Ferentz is going to land on his feet someplace. There's probably quite a few people that don't know, or maybe if you did, you'd forgotten that he was on the staff with the New England Patriots for 4 years before he, came back to the University of Iowa. And, so he's got NFL experience, and, he'll land on his feet someplace. He's not going to, be forever banished to the Netherlands or whatever. But I think this is huge, and it will be real interesting to see how Iowa chooses to go forward. Will Kirk Ferentz continue to be the head coach at the University of Iowa? Will he keep going? Is he going to, he's had other offensive coordinators. But those offensive coordinators have all been very similar. They've run a very similar kind of an offense, and I know that we've debated, John, we've talked about pro style offenses and debated back and forth what they are. But I guess to simplify it, Iowa has for years and years, they've always recruited those big, tall, stout, drop back quarterbacks. Yep. They want those guys in the pocket. They're going to throw, they're going to throw a wide range of passes. And what they're going to try to do is they're just going to try to outman you up front and run those zone running plays, et cetera. So that's the only kind of offense they've run since Kirk Ferentz has been there. So, is he going to take a step out of his comfort zone and bring in somebody that's going to have a little bit more of a wide open offense?
Okay, Brian Bauer says Captain Kirk's buyout is $36 million after this year. He has 6 more years on his contract. Kurt is going nowhere for at least 2 or 3 more years. And then the other comment was, well, Paul Dallin gave us a super chat and said Husker volleyball uber alles, which is, that's news. By the way, I'm going to try to have more volleyball shows, but they will just be volleyball shows with Beth and Miley. We're not going to try to mix volleyball in with this stuff. Just because, I think volleyball probably deserves its own shows anyway. Bone-led corn-fed was the other thing I wanted to talk about. I just heard Frost is a candidate for offensive coordinator for Iowa. He's available. I don't think he'd ever do that. Somebody else pointed out Scott Frost's wife isn't going to move to Iowa. I probably agree with that. Here's the thing. Frost is not going to go to Iowa for the reason that Todd just said. I want you to think about this perspective. And I said something about that earlier in the video I did earlier today. Kirk Ferentz basically dictates the offense. You don't just get to come in and go, I'm going to run a spread, with elements of air raid. He's just not doing that. He's never going to do that. He's going to finish a career being the same guy he's been for the last 20 years. So when you look at like Frost, why would anybody go be the offensive coordinator from Iowa? Does Kirk Ferentz have a second son, Todd?
Yeah, he does. I think he's got 3.
There you go. Oh my God. He could stay around for other guys can come in and be his offensive coordinator. And he can tell them what to run at holiday dinners. But I think, if we were fair, or if we actually took Brian Ferentz's side on this, you'd kind of look at this and go, okay, you didn't make him be your offensive coordinator. He was your offensive coordinator, but let's face it, you made him run the offense you wanted him to run. I mean, most head coaches do, but do you really think he had much leeway in this? So he was perfectly willing to let his son turn into a laughing stock because he wouldn't change as a head coach. And I find that really is that too damning, Todd?
John, I think it's interesting, an interesting thing to think about because I hadn't considered that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Kirk Ferentz is going to dictate the offense that his team is going to run. And obviously, when you have your own son serving in that capacity as offensive coordinator, I don't know. Yeah, maybe Brian didn't have a whole lot of choice.
Right.
But the crazy thing about it is that, there are some people that have talked about how Iowa has not been able to attract the kind of playmakers, the kind of talent in the last few years that they had previously. Well, you know what? Maybe that has a little something to do with when all hell broke loose a few years ago with Coach Doyle and all of the racist crap. And, there was one other coach that was named on numerous occasions as, making a lot of racist comments and treating players in a negative manner. And that was Brian Ferentz. Coach Doyle got shown the door. There were a lot of people that follow the Iowa program that thought Brian was as culpable as Doyle was, and that he should have been sent packing as well, but he wasn't. So maybe that has a little bit of something to do with maybe players making some decisions about not coming to Iowa. Who knows? But Iowa's also taken a step back with their offensive line compared to where they have been in recent years. So, there's quite a bit going on with that.
That's true. Wait, what if he demotes? What if Brian isn't coming back as offensive coordinator, but he goes back to being an offensive line coach?
It won't happen at Iowa.
So Beth Getz, you said?
Beth Getz, yeah.
Yeah, she's just basically said there'll be no more second Ferentz here.
I would think that's probably the case.
Okay. Wow. Is there anybody else we can talk bad about in the Big Ten West for a couple minutes?
Well, here's one I want to throw up here we need to call her good, and we're not really talking about this, but Joel Tilson comes in and says, will players have radio helmets in college football? That's something that was brought up and talked about a lot. And I can't remember which coach it was that made the comment. Maybe I don't remember, but they were talking about, in the NFL. Well, it was rule in the NFL, the quarterback has a speaker in his helmet. And then one of the defensive players has a speaker in their helmet. And he was talking about how in the NFL, they got technology all over the place on the sideline with, tablets and all this kind of stuff. High school football, you go to a lot of the big time high school programs anymore, they've got all sorts of tablets and stuff on the sidelines too. In college football, you can't tell me that they can't afford to have speakers in helmets. I mean, that is just absolutely asinine. That would be a way to solve some of those problems with sign stealing.
Well, Wade Farr comes back with how hard is it to steal radio signals?
You're the technology guy.
I think it depends on the sophistication of the radios. Number one, if you have frequency hopping, in which a radio on a random basis jumps to different frequencies, and both the transmitter and receiver stay timed with each other so they can jump frequencies, then it can be a lot more difficult. I mean, you'd have to do that because it's radio. So, there's different ways to do this. I haven't looked into that at all. I know that the NCAA has tried to pass those things and it gets voted down. And is this across Division II, Division III, NAIA where it gets voted down? I can't remember.
I don't know where. I don't know. I haven't paid that close attention.
Oh, let's see. Gold Falcon Outdoors says PJ Fleck is a Pee Wee Herman reincarnated.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Linda Wilkins says it's not at all hard to. And I think Linda was in the military and probably knows more about that. It depends on the kind of radio and how they're doing the transmission and receiving. Well, how expensive you want to get.
If there was crap going on with stealing radio signals and stuff like that, the NFL would have already uncovered that.
But it's a matter of how much money you're going to spend on the radios.
Well, sure. Well, John, I think we've probably covered enough ground. I think we should end it with Clay Casselder's prediction there. That looks kind of familiar.
It does. It looks like Nebraska 35, Spartans 21. Wow, it's like you have a fan club or something. All right, what else we got going this week? Let's see. I'm going to do a Michigan State podcast, but that'll be on a podcast from Michigan State. Let's see. I'm going to do, I think it'd be Wednesday afternoon. I'm going to do a show, like I said, with Kevin Knight about Michigan State. Thursday night, we'll have the 5 Heart podcast. Thursday evening, I might also be doing something with Big Ten Ted. It depends. You know what it depends on, Todd? It depends on how well I sleep.
Yeah, you need to get some sleep.
How much I can get Scott Frost booing in my dreams out of my head. Linda Wilkins says, do you think the NSA is not picking up that sound? Yeah, but that's the NSA. They have different stuff, Linda. They have, they can do whatever the hell they want. We know that. Okay. I think there's one more I wanted here. Nope. I missed it. Seth Floyd says PJ Fleck looks like Eminem if he rode the short bus. That wasn't the one I wanted. Dadgummit, it went by. I think somebody said something about PJ Fleck. There it is. Caleb Ward. PJ Fleck is actually a hairless gopher. There you go. Okay. That's it for tonight. Thank you all for the support. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you're all doing well. And there you go.
Go Big Red.
Night, Todd.
Good night.
Good night, Todd.